Guys, we're live again with another video. This is going to be another transfer update stream, bringing you guys the latest news on deals with Viktor Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon, Noni Madueke of Chelsea, and also Leandro Trossard being wanted by Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce. Uh, this is going to be a bit of a lengthy stream in terms of negotiations ongoing for certain players that are incoming to join Arsenal, as well as preliminary talks underway for outgoings of the likes of Leandro Trossard. Um, Let me go ahead and cue the intro first. I really apologize for the stream I did earlier today. I had significant audio and video issues, so I thought I'd redo the stream. I apologize to everyone who joined. My phone overheated in the weather that we have, and it wasn't necessarily the best quality stream, but I did want to go live to avoid the commotion of fans panicking that the deal for Viktor Gyökeres is off. People believe anything and everything they read in the media, specifically on Twitter, and Arsenal fans start to freak out. Arsenal fans believe that we're no longer signing Gyökeres, certain Arsenal fans at least, because they believe anything they hear and read online. I just had to debunk that altogether with Fabrizio Romano's update that it's just the fine lines of the agreement payment structure being ironed out, and he should be joining Arsenal in preseason because we're traveling to Singapore and Hong Kong. Hi Malia, thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. I didn't tell anyone what time I was gonna go live, so I do appreciate you joining, and thanks to everyone who's watching on Twitter as well. I'm gonna cue the intro, and then we'll start with the stream. Some of the updates I'll share with you from Turkish media first. For the exit of Leandro Trossard from Arsenal to a move to Fenerbahce, who are in pole position to sign Leandro Trossard after Saudi withdrew their interest early on in the window. It didn't even look like Trossard wanted to go to Saudi, if I'm being honest, even though last season Saudi league did present a 30 million offer to Arsenal, which Arsenal turned down as we didn't have any intentions of selling the player with 2 years left on their contract. Leandro Trossard is currently in his final year of his contract at Arsenal, and it's looking very likely that he is on the chopping block with regards to being sold to Fenerbahce. And I will be telling you guys the evaluation that Arsenal have him at in terms of the price tag that we're looking for to get from, at least, or as close as to possible. Anyway, let me cue the intro and we'll get straight into the rest of the stream, shall we? Thanks to everyone who tuned in earlier, and thanks to everyone watching on Twitter. If you are watching on Twitter right now, you can hop on over to youtube.com. My channel is called Miss Melina. I do a lot of Arsenal content for the men's and women's. We're going to be talking women's content as well. More so this season. It'll be interesting to see how the women's do. We have a record-breaking signing for the Arsenal ladies today. Another Canadian joining Arsenal, which will be great to see. Miss Smith joining Arsenal from Liverpool with 1 million record-breaking 7-figure transfer fee. Anyway, big up Keeler. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining from FDT's channel. I do recognize you. I know Charlie's live right now, so I know most people are probably watching Charlie's stream. But let me cue. So first things first, I am gonna talk about someone in the thumbnail, which is Leandro Trossard, because we already kind of went over the Noni Madueke situation and the situation of Viktor Gyökeres. I don't want to keep repeating myself. I know I had audio and video issues, but at the start of the stream was pretty much okay. I didn't really have issues like that. So you can hear my thoughts in that stream, but I will cover it later on in the stream. The news I do need to mention is from Turkish media itself. It is reported on Twitter, so I'm going to share my screen now. Reports have come out from Turkish media that Fenerbahce has reached a preliminary agreement with Leandro Trossard. That basically means that personal terms have been agreed with Leandro Trossard to the signing to go to Fenerbahce. He doesn't have an issue to sign for Fenerbahce. Personally, if you ask me my opinion, I think this is a good move for him as someone that's getting older. Maybe you can say he's losing a bit of his magic touch at Arsenal. He was very impactful for us in Champions League group stages and in the knockout stages last season with his impact off the bench. But I do think that Fenerbahce are very interested in the player, and Trossard is also keen on a move to Fenerbahce rather than going to Saudi Arabia. In fact, I do have to say, I don't even think any other clubs at the moment have generated interest in Leandro Trossard. Um, so, according to Ellis Views Iraq, sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, it is a Turkish journalist, presenter. She says Fenerbahce has reached a preliminary agreement with Leandro Trossard. The Yellow and Navy team continues transfer fee negotiations with Arsenal. Talks remain positive. This is a good message and a good sign. I also do want to say that Arsenal's evaluation for Leandro Trossard is 20 million euros. So this is from another Turkish journalist that Eduardo Hagen is quoting, and it says right here, Fenerbahce have inquired many times for Leandro Trossard from Arsenal, and Arsenal are asking for around 20 million euros. There's no progress so far. In terms of there's no progress so far, I think that means there's no progress so far in terms of the agreement on the fee, the breakdown of the payment structure, and whatnot. But personal terms are not an issue. I do have to say, however, just because a player agrees personal terms doesn't mean that the transfer is going to be wrapped up, signed, sealed, and delivered. You know, some players have broken personal terms agreements, gentlemen agreements, and some teams have gone back on their words on fees after they see other clubs get a similar type of player sold for higher value in the market, as we've seen in several transfer windows. So personal terms doesn't really mean anything. um I am bringing this up, however, to say the price tag evaluation that Arsenal have put on Leandro Trossard is 20 million euros. If you're converting that to pounds, that's about 17.2 million British pound, which, you know, I think that's earlier in my stream 2 days ago, I said Fenerbahce were looking to bid 18 million pounds. And it's pretty much the closest I think that we're going to get for Leandro Trossard. Hopefully, we meet in the middle to that 20 million that Arsenal are asking for, or we get the 20 million that we're asking for. And, you know, I think that's the best that Arsenal are going to try to do for a player like Leandro Trossard of his age, which we know that he's quite older in the team and having 2 years left of your contract. He was a bit younger then. He's now 30. I think he was 29 when they inquired about him. So a year gap difference, and officially in his last year of his contract, it's looking like in terms of the winger market and the squad depth wise, Leandro Trossard will be one to leave Arsenal. I do have to keep mention to you guys, you know, just as much as incomings matter in this team, especially attacking wise, we need to offload an attacker before we can even bring in someone like Brice Eze to play that 10 or to play the left winger role. I know at Crystal Palace he mainly played the left winger role, but he can also play a 10. But we need to offload that winger position that's now overloaded, looking like Chelsea FC with on the flanks. So Trossard looks like the one to be sold. And I did say 2 days ago that Martinelli was not looking for a move to Saudi Arabia. And in fact, you know, one step further is the fact that Al Ali have moved on to other targets. So I don't see Martinelli going anywhere, and I would have him on the squad. Unfortunately, it's going to be alongside Noni Madueke. I don't want us to sign Noni Madueke, but I'm not one of those fans that were throwing out abuse on his social media, which is really, really unacceptable. As I said earlier in my stream. Hi Anthony, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for joining on Twitter. Thanks to Aman for joining. Shout out to everyone. Hi Maliha, good to see you. And thoughts on Christian Norgard. Today, Christian Norgard was officially announced. It is a 2-year plus 1-year option to extend his contract. I don't think there's going to be issues in terms of him being a squad player. I do think it's a good signing for us, and the length of his contract is favorable to us. With his age, we shouldn't be offering him a 4-year deal. He's significantly older, so I don't think he'll have the legs anymore, if I'm being honest. Cooler says Tottenham get Kudos and Morgans give White the second Solanke. Yeah, Kudos was also a release clause for 55 million, and Morgan Gibbs White was a release clause for 60 million, which Man City didn't want to trigger, from my understanding. Hi, Ashley. He says, I honestly feel like I have no faith for this club anymore at all. After we can't even get Gyökeres, I just don't have any faith at all in this club. Ashley, I am going to say, it's not true that we're not getting Gyökeres. We will get a here we go for Gyökeres, I think, by tomorrow or the weekend at the latest. It's not much of a flight distance from Portugal to London, and I don't have any concerns or doubts whatsoever that this deal is going to be halted. And as I said earlier in my stream that I did earlier this morning, disregard any articles that say, the deal has fallen apart. It's just classic clickbait journalism in a transfer window. The only things that are being ironed out is the payment structure, potentially the add-ons, and the breakdown in terms of the fee and how we're going to pay that out to Sporting Lisbon, which is what they're mainly concerned about. Hawkwind, big up to you, my friend. Hope you're well. I know we're still mourning the loss of Mr. B. I quite miss him in the chats as well. A good friend of ours, Mr. B, Mr. Bungle. Hi, Mr. Tom. How are you doing, my friend? It was really nice to see you last week on Slides in the Dark emergency stream. I was just talking about Slides in the Dark earlier today with Sam. I was wishing he would go live maybe at the weekend, but it's nice to see you back healthy again. And we all hope you continue to get better on the mend, Mr. Tom. And more importantly, I hope Leeds do well for your sake. And we all love when you're happy about Leeds as an Arsenal fan, even though, Ellen Road is definitely not an easy place to go to. So one of our first games of the season is Old Trafford away, Ellen Road, and Liverpool away at Anfield. Hi, Jordan. Big up to you. Ashley says, do you think we will get Gyökeres? All I have to say is it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when we will get a here we go. And, yesterday I said I'm one here we go Noni Madueke away from me wanting a do back. But let's see what the final price tag comes down for Noni Madueke. And unfortunately, I don't see Arsenal walking away because Arteta is so fond of the player, as reported from Ben Jacobs and Fabrizio. Hi, Charlie. Thanks for joining. I know you're live. I was in your chat. I appreciate you joining while you're live. Respects to you for that. Okay, so the next update I do want to talk about is the situation of Noni Madueke. There is nothing pretty much new being discussed of a bid being sent. Yesterday, Team News and Tick said he wasn't sure if a bid was formally sent to Chelsea, but he was hearing amounts of 40 million plus 10 million in add-ons for Noni Madueke, which was said on his Patreon. But at this moment, what I'm going to say, Fabrizio reported Chelsea and Arsenal keep working on the Noni Madueke deal. Personal terms have already been agreed upon. There's conversations still ongoing. The deal is still being negotiated. For sure, a situation to follow in the next hours and eventually days. Basically, to summarize this, I don't see this happening over the weekend. Maybe they'll get it ironed out because it's Chelsea. We tend to do good business with. And whenever it's a deal with Chelsea, you guys know we get those deals wrapped up fast. But when it comes to a striker, whether it's Sporting Lisbon playing hardball for an extra 5 million, or, it's the add-ons being discussed, I don't have any worries in my mind of the situation of Gyökeres signing pen to paper to Arsenal Football Club. And, Noni Madueke is a player that Arteta wanted in the last summer window. And it's no doubt that he's one of the main people advocating for this deal. Some of you guys, and I know Chelsea fans asked for my opinions on the situation of Noni Madueke. First things first, I do want to say, I don't have a problem with Noni Madueke, the player, coming in to be a backup to Bukayo Saka, with the understanding that Bukayo Saka is going into this season expecting to play every game. And we're training in that way in preseason with Bukayo Saka expecting to play every game, unless there is injuries or something was to happen, God forbid. But signing a backup for 50 plus million is very questionable. People will say, well, what about Dominic Szoboszlai, who's now on the bench for Liverpool, costed more money for Liverpool? Could I ask where you got this news from? Like you said, when we get Gyökeres, are you talking to me about Noni Madueke's bid? Then it's from Team News and Tick's Patreon, which I can share. 1 second, I'll have to pull it up if you want me to say the bid. But Team News and Ticks did say that he wasn't clear whether there was a formal deal sent. So for a deal to be rejected, it has to be formally submitted, first things first. And yes, I can share, if that's what you're looking for the Noni Madueke bid. It was 40 million plus £10, which was widely reported, which accounts to 50 million overall, including add-ons. Personally, I don't have a problem with Noni Madueke coming in as a backup, but for the price tag of 50 plus million, which is what Chelsea are looking for, I really hope we continue negotiations and get the price tag as lower as possible. And I think it's the add-ons that are, dwelling this signing. I think if Chelsea continue to demand more than 50 million, we should walk away. I mentioned Johan Bakayoko of PSV. It is also reported yesterday that Bayern Leverkusen are now keeping their eye on Johan Bakayoko of PSV and Ademola Lookman of Atalanta. It was reported earlier this window that Ademola Lookman wanted to leave Atlanta. I think both of those wingers would be much more of an upgrade and challenge Bukayo Saka in that position of right winger. The Gyökeres update, yes, I will share it with you. It's on my Twitter. Let me just get it for you, Ashley. It was on Fabrizio Romano's Twitter today. I did retweet it. 1 second. There is nothing to worry about in terms of the Gyökeres deal. I don't see any issues with this deal transpiring. So I'll just pull it up for you right here. Let me just share my screen. Hi, Mobos. How you doing? Good to see you. Okay, so here's what I was quoting from with Fabrizio Romano. I am showing you from Fabrizio Romano's official Twitter page, not a parody account, not an impersonation account, not a wannabe ITK. Credible sources is the only sources I've used in the past. This is now 4 or 5 transfer windows that I've done on my channel in the 5 years that I've done YouTube. So Fabrizio Romano says the Gyökeres deal remains ongoing, with the two clubs maintaining their position on the transfer fee. There's no chance for Gyökeres to show up for training. He already informed Sporting Lisbon about that, and he only wants to move to Arsenal. Hi, Flix. Thanks for joining. Just to summarize this and to break this down for you guys, it was already reported that the issue in the deal was Sporting want 70 million upfront plus 10, and Arsenal want to play 65 plus 15. So as it was reported before, and even ESPN UK reported the fee, both clubs agreed on over 65 million pounds, which equates to 80 million euros. But Arsenal's bid was 65 million euros plus 15 million euros. Sporting Lisbon said no to that. They want 70 million euros plus 10 million euros. So the difference, to summarize, is the add-ons. They want less add-ons and more money up front, whereas we want to include 15 million in add-ons and pay 65 million in amortization or installments as it's done, or upfront, you could say. How many times has he tweeted? That's not my job. I don't have the facilities for that. And I'm sure if you want to do that, Mobos, you can count how many times he's tweeted. No problem, Ashley. I got you. And I always source credible sources whenever I give information. If I do not have credible sources on a report, I will tell you guys, wait until there's credible reports from David Ornstein, Charles Watts, Team News and Ticks, Hand of Arsenal is also a very reliable ITK this window. You have to give credit when and where it's due. And, Team News and Ticks has been reliable for several years now, even under the Wenger regime. Hi, Flix. Big up to you. I know you. I know Jack's. I know Jordan is going live and Charlie's live. So thanks for joining. I know everybody's probably there. Hi, Steve Walder. He says, while I can't make any sense of the Madueke deal, if the wages are to be as low as reported, maybe in time it balances the fee. It was also reported by Ben Jacobs, who is reliable for Chelsea News, that Madueke would keep the same wages that he's earning at Chelsea, which is 150K a week, I believe. Let me just double check that. I'm pretty sure it's 150K a week. I'm just sorry, it's 50,000 a week he's on. So that's as much as an academy player earns at Chelsea, at Arsenal, I believe. He's on 50,000 a week according to Transfer Market. 50K a week. Yep, that's right. I misspoke. Sorry. I hear Jackson has been added to our striker target list. I mean, they can fuck off. Sorry for my language, but I said it as a joke yesterday. I tweeted, we might as well become an orphanage and help out Jackson and Kunku while we're at it, cleaning up Chelsea's scrapyard. Ridiculous. I really don't believe that. That is nonsense journalism. Whichever journalist did that needs to get a different job. They're not doing a good job at journalism. I mean, maybe they're doing a good job of riling up Arsenal fans. Hi Bargav, good to see you, man. It's been a while since you joined me on one of these, Bargav. It'd be nice to hear your takes on Madueke because I know you're not against the signing of the player. It's more so the fee and how much we're going to end up paying in the end. That's the concern for everyone. I also do need to express that the signing of Noni Madueke does not impact the signing of Abriche Eze or the potential signing of Rodrigo. People keep saying that signing Madueke is going to impact us from signing Abriche Eze. They are two separate deals ongoing, and FABRIZIO Romano said that earlier today. I'm going to pull up the tweet because some of you guys will think I'm just making things up. Let me just scroll to earlier today where I can find that post. They are two separate deals ongoing, and I think even Sam CR Reports mentioned that earlier today, that their Arsenal are working on those two deals hand in hand. There are two separate deals going on. So the transfer of Noni Madueke to Arsenal does not impact the signing of Abriche Eze, which is good to hear. Because I know Arsenal fans and even myself, I would have snapped if that's the case. AFC Amden, another reliable ITK, also tweeted the same information, which I'll share now. And then I'll look for the SamCR report source. Okay, so it says here, Madueke and Eze deals are moving forward independently of each other. Those of you that don't know what independently means, it basically means separate of each other. It's by itself. Arteta has made it clear he wants both. If they manage to sign the pair and Gyökeres also happens, it would take Arsenal's spend well north of 200 million. And that's not including revenue generated from player sales. We still have Reece Nelson on our market to be sold to Fulham or wherever he goes. We still have Leandro Trossard on our on our payroll. We have to also sell Leandro Trossard, who I talked about earlier. Keeping Martinelli is also my intentions as well. C. Walder, I already talked about that earlier in the stream. Probably it was before you joined, so you might have missed that. But there is no intentions of El Ali coming in for Martinelli, and it's clear that Trossard is the one on that winger squad death list to be sold, rather than a young Martinelli to Saudi or wherever, or to the Turkish league. The fee of Norgard today, the announcement of Christian Norgard wearing the number 16 kit, it's a 2-year plus 1-year extension, as I mentioned earlier. But the fee agreed upon was 10 million plus 2 million in add-ons, which is a good price for his age. And also only the 2 years. We don't have to activate the 1-year extension unless Arsenal choose to. So it's a good short-term contract considering his age. And the price we paid good efforts from Arsenal. Um, I don't think there's an issue with that player coming in as a squad player, solely a squad player. I don't know if anyone's really panicking over that. The next thing I want to talk about is yesterday night we received news from now from Parma about the signing of Italian league. They want Fabio Vieira. Now, Fabio Vieira, I believe, is on an extended holiday or still on holiday, from my understanding. He hasn't returned to training. But Fabio Vieira has already generated interest from Italian club Parma. We don't have an evaluation yet for Fabio Vieira. Some people will say off the bat, sell him while you can, generate the revenue. Some people are saying to keep him. The same, kind of split down the middle opinions from Arsenal fans goes to Jakob Kivior. And moving on to Ebrice Eze, it was clear that the uh, the Ebrice Eze signing would include the player of Josh Nichols from the academy. I already said off the bat that Josh Nichols is a young academy prospect. I don't see him getting game time under Arteta. I mean, if we could, in terms of Ethan Waneri getting game time, and I know it's a different position, but in terms of academy kids, I think Josh Nichols would have a better opportunity at Crystal Palace to thrive under and to hopefully build his career under. With the age that he is and, being so raw, I don't see him getting any game time, even in our cup games. I just can't see it happening. I know in the bench in some games he was included on the bench list because in the Champions League you're allowed to have a bigger squad. But I don't see him getting any game time at Arsenal. So I would sell him and I would include him in a player plus cash swap deal to Crystal Palace when we're presenting an offer for Ebrice Eze. The next thing I want to say, even one step further than this, is I would say we should consider including Jakob Kivior in the deal. Now, a lot of people will say just off last season when Gabriel Magalhaes got injured, Kivior was a warrior defensively. He had significant games against Real Madrid at home and away, and a time when he really needed to step up and rise to the occasion. He did, and we really saw the best performance out of Kivior in an Arsenal kit, I would argue, and a lot of us would agree with that. But we're so used to selling Arsenal players when they're out of it or when they're out of shape, when they're close to 1 year left of their contract, or when they're at the end of the contract. We terminate deals by mutual consent, or we end up losing players on a free transfer. I don't want none of that to happen. Kivior is still young. He has a lot of potential, and I would consider including him in the deal to I would consider including him in the deal to Crystal Palace for Ebrice Eze. Keep in mind, we've sold Matt Turner, Eddie Nketiah, and Rob Holding to Crystal Palace. Now, whether those transfers went well or not to Crystal Palace is not my problem. But I do know if Chelsea want to say Arsenal have good relations with Arsenal, if Chelsea want to say we have good relationships with them, you can say the same thing, that Arsenal demonstrate a good relationship with Crystal Palace. And I hope that relationship would help lower the price tag of Ebrice Eze, but more importantly, offering a player plus cash swap deal, which is not what Arsenal mainly tend to do. I hope that this would help lower the release clause fee for Ebrice Eze. And Eze has made it clear that he only wants to move to Arsenal, which is wonderful. Personal terms are not an issue with the signing of Ebrice Eze to Arsenal. I just seen Chelsea now tweet that Jackson wants to leave Chelsea. Clubs in the Premier League and Italy are calling to find out the eventual conditions of the deal. I wonder if he'll go to Man United. I don't want to see any articles of Nicholas Jackson and Arsenal in the same sentence. God forbid. I mean, we don't even need him. Maybe AC Milan want him. Jonathan David, of course, just signed for Juventus, but Juventus, of course, are looking to get rid of Dusan Vlahovic. Douglas Luiz is also looking to leave. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with those transfers of different clubs. Do you know where the Madueke petition is? No, I don't. I'm sure you can use Google and Twitter and whatever internet these days to find it yourself, though. I'm not sure. I don't think it'll be that much of a difficult search to do. And realistically, if I'm being honest, petitions don't really work. They very rarely work. It's just a bunch of fluff and sugarcoating, which I don't do on this channel. Um, and I think that's ridiculous and immature. As much as a lot of us don't want Noni Madueke, a petition isn't going to stop a signing that Arteta wanted for 2 summers in a row now, including this summer. And unfortunately, that is the reality that we're in. I've already talked about Leandro Trossard to Fenerbahce. Arsenal are expecting 20 million euros. I've shared some sources from Turkish media. I've talked about the Viktor Gyökeres deal. I've talked about Noni Madueke, Kivior, and Josh Nichols potentially being included in a swap deal for Fabricio as they would enhance and level up our attack that we need. If we're trying to challenge on all fronts here in terms of the Champions League and the Premier League, we need to strengthen our attack significantly. Oh, wow. Trent and Endrick are injured for Real Madrid. Hi, Wilson. Hope you're well. I did see you on She Knows Arsenal, Jessica's channel the other day, talking about Noni Madueke. I was just talking about it. A lot of people ask my opinions on the signing of Noni Madueke. In terms of, I don't even think he's going to touch pitch for a lot of time. I don't think it's going to be him replacing Saka or challenging Saka. I don't think it's none of that. It's just simply mere a backup in case Saka was to get injured, or some of the games where we want to give Saka a rest where we're already 3-0 up in a game, for example. Thanks, Wilson, for joining. Appreciate it. I know, like I said earlier, we could have got Johan Bakayoko, could have tried to get Johan Bakayoko from PSV, or I guess you could say hindsight is a beautiful thing. If Semenyo didn't sign an extension for Bournemouth, he would have been a good option in that position. Ademola Lookman is still available from Atlanta, but we didn't even try for any of those players. Arteta has his favorites, and it's clear that he's the only one in management that wants him. Rodrigo is an incredible player who has a lot of pace and scores goals. This guy would certainly take our attack to a different level, to be honest, 100%. The same thing I'll say with Fabricio Eze. I think he elevates our attack just another step higher that we need, and we significantly need it. Big up, Jack. Thanks for joining. I did share some news earlier. Lucho, Bayern Munich has submitted a bid for Lucho. I think that bid's going to be rejected, though. What? What? Tottenham are set to make a move for Adam Wharton to complete an incredible triple transfer soup worth 175 million. This source better be not true. What the hell? Tottenham spending money. Kudos, Gibbs White, and Adam Wharton. That's a whole new midfield. Nah, that source can't be true, man. This is fake. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Fake news. Anyway, that source is as bad as Marca. I've seen that, Mel. We want more money than what they offered. Yeah, I think you want more than 80 is what I've been hearing. I believe that Viktor Gyökeres is proven, scores goals, and is a brilliant player. I believe that the deal will be done, to be honest. I already said earlier, I don't think Arsenal fans should panic in terms of the deal for Gyökeres signing. I just think it's a matter of when, not if, and I don't think there's a... Earlier this morning, we woke up to the deal is off, rumors of this and that. And I think that should all be disregarded. I don't think there's anything to worry about. I did just share credible sources from Fabrizio Romano himself saying that talks are still underway. It's just a matter of ironing out the payment structure and the add-ons, which can take time. I don't think it's going to go down to the wire of this transfer window because Arteta clearly said he wants all his players in, especially the attack, for the preseason that we're going abroad for in I guess, a week or so. So I don't see an issue with that. But in terms of outgoings, as I said earlier, outgoings are just as important as incoming. So I really hope I really hope there's no issue in terms of, us getting the closest to the evaluation or the evaluation that we hold out for our players. In the past, we often let players leave for very low fees, very low. We accept the first offer given and we get rid of players. We lose players for free. We terminate contracts, like I said earlier. It's just a bad look on us and not being able to sell players. Look at Chelsea. Tammy Abraham was sold for good money. And that's an old example, but even recently, Chelsea are very good at um, selling their less favorable players, and I wish Arsenal would be able to do the same thing. Um, I do you think the fans need to work against the signing of Noni Madueke? Somebody's asking me on Twitter. Um, to answer your comments, Araya, I don't think the fans' impact is going to change anything. This is not La Liga where you wave a white flag and the manager is sacked the next day. We don't necessarily have that much of a voice or say like people think. And I'm just being honest. I don't think anything is going to stop this transfer other than possibly maybe us walking away, the slim chance that we walk away. But this is a player that Arteta has wanted for 2 summers in a row now. And I just can't see us walking away, if I'm being honest. Um, in terms of the price tag, I do think also Chelsea have financial issues, as you guys know, and they're looking to sell. They're looking to sell, and they've already got kittens. So also, Noni Madueke wants to leave, so it's clear that personal terms were not an issue. He's been told back up to Bukayo Saka, not left wing. That still leaves the left wing open for us to get Ebriche Eze or Rodrigo. In terms of Rodrigo, people are asking me, do I believe we will sign Rodrigo? All I have to say is Rodrigo has to do like a Fabregas and either refuse to train, refuse to show up, or have the balls to put in a transfer request and say, look, you guys aren't going to include me in the squad. You guys aren't going to play me, give me regular game time. Then I'm going to go to Arsenal. And it's been reported that Rodrigo favors a move to Arsenal. He only wants to move to Arsenal. But I wish that, if we were a serious club, we sell Trossard quickly. It's not even about the money that's the issue. It's the squad space. We need to get rid of a winger because we have too many wingers now. And for me, the most obvious one would be selling Trossard. And, I respect Trossard for all that he's done for this club, especially in the Champions League when we were back in it. His goals off in the game against Porto will not be forgotten. In the knockouts Champions League phases, he's always been clutch off the bench, I will say. And we just have to move on, and we hope the best for him if he goes to Fenerbahce, who I think will most likely be signing Leandro Trossard. In terms of other news today, hi Anthony, thank you for joining. In terms of other news today, there's also been reports of former Arsenal striker Aubameyang being linked back to a move to Olympique Marseille. Marseille have already inquired with Aubameyang's in terms of whether he wants to move back. As you guys know, Aubameyang is now officially a free agent in the market, just like Jamie Vardy and just like Calvert-Lewin. It'll be interesting to see if Aubameyang goes back there or what will happen with that signing. I wish him all the best there. I do also want to discuss preseason. At this moment, Arsenal are currently in Spain as it stands, doing warm weather training. Pre-tour training camp is what Arsenal are on now. Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, and Timber, who all finished the season with injuries, have all traveled. And in fact, the very popular academy prospect Max Dauman has also traveled to La Manga in Spain for a pre-tour training camp. The Emirates Cup is also going to tickets already on sale for that. Those of you who are struggling to get tickets to go to Arsenal games, these are the games where you want to go. It's a very nice day out in London. London doesn't have nice weather for a long time. So this is nice, hot, scorching weather. It's good weather, good vibes. It's a good way to get tickets and to go see the new signings. Take your family and kids out. I'm not sponsored by the club. I'm just giving my personal opinion. Those of you that always complain, I can't get tickets to a game. I know it's not a Premier League game, but it's the best thing you can get, and probably the closest thing you can get, if I'm being honest. Um, Big up, Anthony. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good evening so far, everybody. I know I went live earlier, but I'm very sorry. My audio and my video was very, very poor. Marco Asensio from Villa is going to join Fenerbahce. He did go on loan to Villa, and now he's going to join Fenerbahce permanently. Aston Villa were unable to keep him in the early summer on a permanent deal. Keep in mind, he's 29, so he's a year younger than Trossard, but Fenerbahce is looking like they're going to sign him. And I really hope that Fenerbahce give the 20 million euros that Arsenal are looking for Trossard. It would be good to sell him there. I think it's a good move for Trossard. Let me know what you guys think of selling Trossard to Fenerbahce. Are you against it? Do you want to keep him? Trossard can play 4 different positions, but Madueke can only play 1. Madueke is a lot younger than Trossard. And, you know, viability-wise, I think Trossard over Martinelli is the one that will be sold. I don't see Martinelli being sold, and I think Arsenal have made it clear that they're going to keep him as a squad player this upcoming season. Gibbs White to Spurs. Yes, it is also a release clause that was activated, and his medical is scheduled tomorrow. Also, the release clause was 60 million. So at the time Man City inquired for Morgan Gibbs White, Nottingham Forest quoted 100 million. Then I don't know if Man City didn't know he had a 60 million release clause. Like, how do you not know that when you inquire about the player? But I think they didn't want to pay 60 million release clause because they just signed Ryan Cherky and they signed that Rangers. I know it's different positions, but they have more flexibility there and versatility. So I know Tottenham are rebuilding their midfield. And those 2 signings are good signings for them. Let's see how they do, though. Why is Gibbs White going to Spurs? Yes, it's already done deal, Barkev. It's a 60 million release clause. And initially, Man City were really after him, but they didn't want to pay the 60 million. As you know, they just signed Ryan Cherky and they signed Rangers. And one of those 2 players can play versatile positions. So I don't think they remained interested in Morgan Gibbs White. If Rodrigo signs for Arsenal, there is no way that Martinelli will be the starting winger, in my opinion. I agree with you, but more so, I don't agree that we will sign Rodrigo. I'm kind of hesitant on whether we will sign Rodrigo. I think the situation with Rodrigo is if we were to sign Rodrigo, in order to get his signature first, he needs to tell Real Madrid and Xabi Alonso, hey, I'm done with you guys. I'm cutting ties with you guys. I want to move to Europe, another club in Europe in the Champions League. Yeah, he needs to have the balls to do that. And if until he does that, I don't see him going anywhere. I know PSG inquired about Rodrigo, and I know we've inquired about Rodrigo, but I don't see anything in terms of something being advanced in the next week or so with Rodrigo. I think that's a signing that you could say would drag on to the near end of the window. I know I just said earlier today that Real Madrid were eliminated and thrashed in the Club World Cup semifinal by Luis Enrique's PSG, but I don't think that would escalate talks with Rodrigo. Maybe they can talk further on payment structure and stuff, but until he says personally that he wants to leave Real Madrid and puts in a transfer request, I don't see him coming or leaving Real Madrid, if I'm being honest. Tejan Buchanan to Sassuolo and Brentford are wusses. Yeah, I did hear Sassuolo are now front runners for Tejan Buchanan. Hi, Tyrell. Big up to you. Good stream you did earlier with Rory and Joshua. Rory and Jordan. It was nice to see Norway women win the group. It was a good game with Netherlands women and England women's yesterday. Speaking of the women's team, Arsenal ladies record-breaking signing in Olivia Smith, first seven-figure transfer in the women's. Our fellow Canadian. I hope she does well with Arsenal. She was doing very well at Liverpool, so I'm excited to see the signing with her. Big up everyone. With all due respect, Real Madrid got totally spanked by PSG. Yeah, and it was so early in the game, already 2-0 up in the game. But man, Luis Enrique's that attacking core that they have, most of their players are quite young. And Luis Enrique, I can't believe Chelsea rejected Luis Enrique. Like, that's mind-boggling. But man, if you give Luis Enrique that amount of money that Chelsea have spent, and it's Luis Enrique, man, they would have had a crazy team. But anyway, we're glad that didn't happen. I hope Luis Enrique, first of all, thrash Chelsea in the finals on Sunday. I'll be doing a watch along for the final this Sunday on my channel. And mainly what I do want to say next is, Spurs fans, my friend Omar, he's not here in the chat today, but he's a moderator on my channel and he supports Tottenham. He's from California. My friend Omar, you better watch your back, because although you signed Morgan Gibbs-White and you signed another Mohamed Kudus in attack, I don't see you guys beating PSG. And I think that PSG team is going to give you guys a nice awakening. And, you know, it's going to be awesome to watch. Hate watch Spurs in that Super Cup. This PSG team is incredible, man. And, you know, Ousmane Dembele, a lot of Arsenal fans snubbed their heads on Ousmane Dembele, and he's having such a stellar season, even in the Champions League, in the knockout rounds. Man, that PSG team that we lost to, people expected us to roll over PSG. And I'm not disrespecting Arsenal, but, man, this PSG team and that attack is quite crazy. And you know, I just can't see Tottenham getting anything past this PSG team. And you know, hope Chelsea lose. Christian Tate, I hate Chelsea, but I hate our oil clubs more. PSG, Chelsea must save football. Chelsea and saving football shouldn't be in the same sentence. Moss Sports World, a nice spanking. We play Spuds in Hong Kong. Yes, we do. North London Derby in Hong Kong. We also do have friendlies in Singapore, which will be interesting. And currently, Arsenal are in Spain for pre-training. As I said earlier, Max Dowman. Oh my goodness, what the fuck? I'm sorry. We just got a here we go for Noni Madueke while I'm live? No way. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, we paid more than 50 million. Oh my goodness. What? Why did we do this? No. Oh no. 5-year deal. Oh my goodness. What's going on? Oh no. Oh my God. 5 years. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Well, while I'm live and I was about to wrap up this stream, what the fuck, man? Excess of 50 million with add-ons. Oh my goodness, what the hell? Oh my God, 5 years. I don't know what this club is smoking. I mean, oh my goodness. As I was saying this morning, a Chelsea deal gets wrapped up in a matter of 2 business days, and we're here waiting 3 years almost for a proper striker. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Okay, Fabrizio Romano, and I just checked if it's the real Fabrizio Romano, and it is. Oh my goodness, my heart just sank. Noni Madueke to Arsenal, here we go. Fee agreed in excess of 50 million British pounds with add-ons included. Green light from Chelsea. It gets worse. Madueke already agreed a 5-year deal at Arsenal days ago. Days ago. And he's now set to complete the move. Oh my god. We might as well bring Jackson and Kunku while we're at it, since we want to help everyone out. Since we want to be a orphanage. Oh my goodness, 5 years. Jesus Christ. I said I'm okay with Noni Madueke if it's 40 million plus 10. What does this mean? An excess of 50 million, Fabrizio? You need to be more specific. I need more news from this. Oh my god, this is disgusting. Oh my god, we paid more than 50 million. Oh my goodness. I can't believe this is real. Oh my god. And there's no explanation of the actual how much add-ons. Oh my god. And can we just say what? A 5-year deal agreed 8 days ago. Yet we're still here ironing out the contract details of Viktor Gyökeres, who cut 2 million from his salary, told his girlfriend to fuck off, and said, I'm not showing up for training. Yet we're getting a deal for Noni Madueke wrapped up in a matter of days ago for 5 years. 5 years! Oh my goodness, what the heck? And I said I would be okay with this signing if it was 40 million plus 10 million in add-ons. And this is now saying an excess of 50 million. I don't know if I understand the British language well, but an excess of 50 million means we paid more than 50 million with add-ons included. Oh my god, why? Every single window we get screwed over. Ridiculous. And they didn't even pay 50 million or anywhere close to sign Noni Madueke from PSV. Arteta, if you really wanted Noni Madueke, why didn't you sign him when he was at PSV? You can't tell me. We have our own scouting system. Oh my goodness, man. Just when I'm about to wrap up the stream, my stream was going well, peaceful. We were having, concrete discussions of players, and we're hearing a here we go for Noni Madueke. Ridiculous. And it's the fee that we paid is now driving me crazy. 50 million plus, an excess of 50 million. And yes, you can say it's not my money. Why do I care? Because I now think they're gonna say, oh, we don't have the funds in our budget to sign Rodrigo, who would elevate our attack. Noni Madueke, unfortunately, is not an elevation or a level raising the bar type of signing, and that's the truth. And that's not being disrespectful to Noni Madueke. That's saying the obvious based on stats and everything. This is disgusting. I can't believe this. Oh my god. Excess of 50 million. Oh my gosh. Well, it's too late now. He's already wearing the Arsenal kit. STFU, Saka needs a backup. He just got off of surgery, played every single game for Arsenal. Wait until he breaks down. You don't know what you're talking about. Paying over 50 million for a backup to Bukayo Saka is ridiculous. And in reality, Arsenal are going into preseason already expecting Bukayo Saka to play most games. I don't think Noni Madueke is going to see the pitch a lot. And, that's the truth. This is stupid. And whether you like it or not, just because you like Noni Madueke doesn't mean you need to shove it down everybody's throats. And I'm someone who likes Arteta. Just because, and, I'm very fond of Arteta on my channel. You've probably never even seen my channel. But paying over 50 million for Noni Madueke, I need a breakdown on the actual fee and add-ons, and nobody has yet to tweet that. This is ridiculous. Oh, here we go. Charles Watts just nothing posted yet from him. Nothing posted from Ornstein. Man, this is ridiculous amount of money. I mean, I really hope it's 40 million and 12 million in add-ons, Mr. Zhao. I hope you're right. This is frustrating. I heard yesterday from Team News and Ticks on Patreon that we bid 40 million plus 10. But I didn't know if a bid was formally submitted. So I'm not sure if that was the issue that was being ironed out, whether it's the add-ons. I really hope it's 40 million plus 12 and not in excess of 50 million, including add-ons like 50 plus whatever. I hope that's not the case. Johan Bakayoko would have been better. Ademola Lookman would have been better from Atlanta. This club does the most senseless shit every year. You know what? It's crazy. We keep running back to Chelsea to help them with their financial issues. Rodrigo to Chelsea could become a reality. I don't see that happening. By the way, Chelsea now have 130 million in the bank from the Club World Cup funds and Madueke money. Yeah, from their participation in the Club World Cup, but they haven't yet won the trophy. They also signed Gittins from Dortmund for a lot cheaper. And it was clear that Madueke didn't have a future under Enzo Maresca. Arteta promises big losses, bigger. He is worse than Roberto Di Matteo. That's a bit harsh. He made PSG beat Arsenal. Arteta out. Arteta is bad. Disgraceful transfer window. Noni Madueke, here we go. Yeah, I just saw it. Hi, Jason Gunnar. Big up to you, my brother. How you doing? While I was live, we just got this here we go news for Noni Madueke, and I don't know what to think. I mean, I don't know what's bad, the 5 years agreement or the fee. I need to know that breakdown for the fee. Hi, Daniel. How you doing? It's been a while since I've gone live, but it's good to see you again in the chat. Johan, I already read that comment. Sorry. More people should have signed the petition. I was just saying earlier, and I've just proved my point. Signing a petition doesn't change anything. Respectfully, most of the times a petition doesn't work. It just falls on deaf ears. And this is not the Liga where fans have a lot of say. Fans don't even have a share at the ownership in Premier League. In Premier League stakes, I mean. Terrell says, why are we signing this bum? I really hope he proves us wrong, but man, I mean, we signed Sterling and that was abysmal. So could this be any worse? But my concern is the fee. I'm livid. I want Arteta out tonight. I've had enough. Well, I don't want Arteta out. I mean, I like Arteta and I'm giving him another season, but man, Arteta's not helping himself. I need to know the breakdown of this fee for Noni Madueke. I mean, like this is frustrating, and all of a sudden when it's a deal with Chelsea, we get the ball going right away. The last thing I want to say on this point is Arsenal better sign Eze and Rodrigo to strengthen our attack, because signing Noni Madueke to play right wing is not elevating our attack. And our attack was, our Achilles heel last season with the amount of injuries we've had. If we're not signing Abriche, Eze, and or Rodrigo on top of this, I would be very, very frustrated. And I would be very, very upset. Petition's meaningless. That's exactly what I said. Steve Walder says, our only option now is to get behind Noni. F me if Rodrigo ends up at Chelsea, I'll scream. I did say it earlier, but then I also want to say, if he's leaving Real Madrid for game time and he specified he only wants to move to Arsenal, which I know can change, a player can change heart, but Chelsea already have 50 wingers ahead of him. They just signed Gittins from Dortmund. They haven't yet loaned out Gittins. I don't think they have plans to loan out Gittins. I don't think Rodrigo would go to Chelsea if he's looking for game time. The same thing with Ethan Nwaneri. People were saying Ethan Nwaneri would leave. Ethan Nwaneri, Sam CR reports mentioned it 2 days ago, that Nwaneri is close to putting pen to paper, so nothing to worry about there. Had enough, then move on. Don't need weak cards. Yeah, that's, to a certain degree. I mean, I really hope this signing doesn't impact the signing of Abriche Eze, just like what was reported earlier. And man, it's too late now. Noni Madueke is wearing the Arsenal kit. It's a done deal. Ironically, I did put him in the thumbnail in an Arsenal kit, and I decided to go live. And I was saying, as I said earlier, maybe a half an hour ago, I said, guys, whenever it comes to a business with Chelsea, we get business done fast. And while I'm live, bam, notification for Richard Romano. Noni Madueke signs a 5-year deal to Arsenal with a fee of excess of 50 million, including add-ons. We don't know the actual breakdown of the contract, which is what I keep refreshing. And Charles Watts hasn't said anything. David Ornstein hasn't said anything. Where are the Arsenal ITKs when you need it? So, This deal is literally completed in a matter of 24 hours overnight. Now I just want to say, me personally, as a fan that goes to games, he is now wearing the Arsenal kit. If he gets on the pitch, I am going to support him. I'm not the type of fan to boo players. If you want to do that, that's on you. And that's your personal choice as a grown man or woman or whatever you identify as. Thanks for signing Madueke. Love Arteta forever. God bless Mikel Arteta. Thanks, Chelsea fans. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe on your way out. Let's hope that they now focus on actually signing Viktor Gyökeres. We've been hearing a deal advanced for Viktor Gyökeres in the past 3 weeks now. I've done several streams now about Viktor Gyökeres, and I know you guys are bored of hearing deal advanced, deal progressing, talks underway, talks progressing gradually. Like, there's so many buzzwords that I can think of. And all of a sudden, when it's a deal with Chelsea, we get everything done quick and we give him everything he wants. C. Walder says, can you do me a favor and put Rodrigo in an Arsenal kit in your next thumbnail? Sure. I was debating whether to put Madueke on the thumbnail or Trossard in a Fenerbahce kit. And then I thought, I need to go live quickly because it's getting late now and people probably have other things to do later in the day. So I wanted to go live. So at that point, I didn't really have much time to think about, who to put on the thumbnail. I just thought, okay, let me just keep it Arsenal colors. Hi, Daniel. Thanks for joining. While I was live, the news did break out of Noni Madueke to Arsenal for a 5-year contract. It's too late now. He's on his way to Arsenal, and we'll see what happens in the upcoming time. Now, I think the disclaimer here I'll say is I really hope, just like the journalist said, this does not impact the signing of FABRIZIO Eze for that left wing position, although I know Eze can play 10 or left wing. I wanted to take it as they take it as I'm trying to process this shit, Mel. It's very frustrating and annoying watching this club do business. I don't know why it's been almost like maybe half an hour since this was announced, or 20 minutes at least, and nobody's yet given the breakdown on the add-ons. Why hasn't anyone posted that? Oh my gosh. He may be willing to do his medical and sign before going on holiday. Oh yeah, because after the Club World Cup, he might go on holiday. So he might be willing to do his medical and sign before going on holiday after the Club World Cup final on Sunday. I don't think Noni Madueke will play unless Chelsea don't have any other option. But it is reported from FABRIZIO that it's a deal excess of 50 million. Anyways, guys, I started off with the stream saying Gyökeres and Madueke moving closer to Arsenal transfers moves, but in reality, Noni Madueke to Arsenal, here we go, in an excess of 50 million, including add-ons. He is officially an Arsenal player, and we're still waiting for the here we go for Viktor Gyökeres. With that being said, folks, thanks to everyone who's tuned in to the live stream. We've been going on for over an hour now. I know I said I had a lot to talk about, but boy, Noni Madueke to Arsenal, here we go, wasn't on my bingo cards, wasn't on my talking points agenda today. Ridiculous. Whenever it's a deal with Chelsea, it's done in 24 hours. We might as well help them out with Nkunku and Jackson while we're at it. And this is frustrating. Anyway, Arsenal go shopping again at Chelsea. Really, he signed. You're having a bubble. Yeah. He signed now. It's too late. I think the only good thing is that he's seen as a backup, so he'll hardly play. Sarif, thank you for joining. He's from Turkey. He says, tell me the situation of Trossard to Fenerbahce. Well, according to your Turkish media, personal terms have already been agreed with Trossard, and Fenerbahce Arsenal value the player at 20 million euros. So please pay us the money and we'll give you Trossard. He's a great player off the bench, very impactful signing. I think he'll do well for you guys, even though he's 30. Take care of him, but more importantly, pay us the 20 million euros that we're asking for Sarif, and then we can talk about Trossard. Don't take us for fools like the Serie A and the AC Milans that penny pinch. So please pay us the money directly to Arsenal Football Club, and Leandro Trossard will wear your navy blue and yellow colors in Fenerbahce under Jose Mourinho. Florian Plettenberg says a full agreement between Arsenal and Madueke reached until 2030, with the green light given by the player after an offer was submitted on July 1st. Now it's also agreed with Chelsea 50 million with add-ons. So it could be 40 plus 12. 40 plus 10 is probably what was agreed on. I hope that's the case. Nobody's yet given a full breakdown on the fee, but I really hope that's the case. And I hope he doesn't end up like a Raheem Sterling. I pray that he doesn't end up like the situation of Raheem Sterling when he was at Arsenal. And I hope Madueke puts in an effort when he's called upon, if he's called upon to play any games for us or any game time whatsoever. Thanks everyone who's joined me in this live stream, whether you are watching on Twitter or whether you were watching on YouTube. Really appreciate everybody who's joined. Have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, wherever you are in the world. Thanks to all of you for your time and for sharing your thoughts on Arsenal's latest signing of Noni Madueke joining us. It is official now. He's signed for 5 years under Mikel Arteta. And we're still waiting for the green light of Viktor Gyökeres to Arsenal, with Arsenal squad currently in Spain for pre-training before the preseason tour. I will be doing a watch along on Sunday for the Club World Cup final, which will be PSG versus Chelsea. We hope Luis Enrique's PSG team wins. If you guys do want to join me on the watch along in the chat, feel free to. I'll be live Sunday for that. Take care and have a rest of your evening. If there is any news breaking out on Viktor Gyökeres from now until tomorrow, I will be going live again to give you guys the latest news on Arsenal's striker situation and any concrete updates on Viktor Gyökeres. As of now, there is no here we go from FABRIZIO Romano for Viktor Gyökeres. Thanks, everyone, if you've tuned in all this way. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Please do make sure to check out my previous videos if you haven't already. Thanks, everyone who's joined. Have a good rest of your evening. And adios, everyone. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.